Hi guys, I'm Karen.
And I'm Maya.
And we're Sustainably Chic, here to share with you all things sustainable. So this week we're talking about how we became a sustainable base family, or at least our attempt in becoming more sustainable. And so for me personally, it started as a kid. My parents, of course, were a military family. Well, my dad was in the military, so we traveled a lot. Um, and my mom, growing up, my mom didn't mention the word recycle. She was always very thrifty. She loved garage sales. She loved what we now call thrifting. And we had to, as a kid, we were dragged along. And also, she didn't call it recycling in the house, but if she had like a butter container or glass jars or whatnot, you didn't throw those things out. So that's how I got started. And then in high school, we lived overseas in England, and I loved going to the flea markets and things there. Um, Fast forward years later, met my husband, and I was still very thrifty. But it wasn't until, and he was also, like I said before, in the military as well. And when our kids came along, we had a couple of assignments overseas, and we had the opportunity to be assigned in Germany, Heidelberg, Germany to be exact. And it was my first time actually. Well, we really enjoyed our time in Germany. I mean, loved it completely. And but when it comes to recycling and sustainability, um, living in Germany, so we're going to give you, I think, four things, four comparisons between living in Germany, um, what we learned there, and how it is here in the United States, and then what we did as a family to uh, bring the two together to make it work for us here and to live sustainably here in the United States. There are four things that we learned while we were in Germany and that we still try to do today. So our first one, and I have a notebook here just in case.
I can't read it, it's in cursive.
Okay, it's in my cursive, so she says it's really bad. So the first thing is recycle day in Germany, as opposed to the recycle pickup here in the United States where we live. So just disclaimer, this is our experience, and I'm sure it like works totally different wherever you go in the United States. But here, our recycling
We
pickup.
live in North Carolina.
We live in North Carolina, and when it's recycle day, or it comes with trash day. It's the same day as our trash day.
I thought it was every other week.
It's every other week, right? But it occurs on the same day on trash day.
Is that Sunday or Monday?
Monday. And for the most part, you can throw anything in there into the recycle thing, and they just dump it. You're supposed to throw recycling items in there.
Nothing will happen if you don't follow that rule.
Because they obviously at the recycle place, at the recycle center, they sort all of that, and I guess there they decide what they're going to take and what they're not going to take. However, in Germany, that wasn't the case. On recycle day, you had to, there was no recycle day. Recycle day was every day. And you had to...
you didn't have to bring your trash if you didn't have any, but recycle day was like every day.
Anytime you took out the trash from your home, you had better make sure it was recycled.
So they have is it like 3 trash cans? Like one for trash, fruits, vegetables, that type.
Well, that leads us into the food waste at home. So or just waste in general. But in Germany, when we lived there, we had a 3-part garbage can or trash can in our kitchen area. And what it was and they were all labeled. So
you kind of learn it as you're a kid.
Yes,
even as a kid, we were really young. We knew this does not go in that trash can. So they teach it to their kids when they're really young. So when you grow up, you just know that's where it's supposed to go because you've lived there all your life. But
we lived there for 5 years. So after a while, it became second nature. You knew what went where, and also for their glass jars there, you earn money. You can earn money for that.
It's not like a lot of money, but you didn't have that money before. So
right. And it's a good incentive. It's to recycle your jars or what have you. Everything had to be recycled. I mean, by the time you recycled everything, all you had was food waste. And that's all you have were like scraps of food. And in your trash that was literal trash. So literally it was down to compost. So,
which is recyclable.
So
technically they won on both parts.
So I mean, basically it was down to the compost. So you really didn't have that much trash. The third thing, because we had the first one, which was recycle day. The second one was food waste and separating the food. And here you don't have to do that. They separate it for you, I'm assuming. And also,
I'm pretty sure there's some place in America where they stress
it. But where we are, it's not stressed. And then you have the recycle. Then we go on to the recycle center. So the recycle center, my husband took the kids quite often because they liked going, because it was like a huge store almost, but everything was free. And they could go and
that explains so much.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out how I got stuff as a kid for other people for their birthday, but that makes sense. It was all free.
You were
not for your birthday.
Wait, you're insulting the recycle center as
you tell them how great it is.
It was great, but
just keep talking.
Birthday presents, like seriously?
No, they would have like anything that was in the recycle center. It wasn't like a thrift store. Like it was like whatever people left in it, they would take it and they would clean it. And if it couldn't be cleaned, they wouldn't put it in the store.
They had bicycles and everything, and for our family, that's where when we first moved in. Yeah, the first thing, that's where we found everybody's bicycle, was at the recycle center. And we're not talking about junky bicycles. We're talking about real nice bicycles
But that's also a way of life in Germany.
You could get used car parts. Everything was there. And their recycle centers look like some of our thrift stores. Tables and chairs and things. Quality things. And then last but not least, because I don't want to hold you all that long.
Did you remember it? Because you didn't flip the book.
Oh, I didn't flip my notebook. Thanks, Maya. Was water consumption. And but also, I just wanted to mention this too. Here in the United States, we use a lot of AC. Over there, that was one hard thing. You could buy an AC unit, but the windows are so big. Like when we got one on base, the window is huge. It doesn't have a screen, so you have to really maneuver that thing in there if you wanted an AC. But for the most part, they only have, there's a window of time where it gets really, really hot. Same as here in North Carolina. And I'm not suggesting people go without AC, of course, because in certain parts of the United States, it's hot all the time, like excruciatingly hot.
But in their defense, like in Germany, it gets hot.
Yeah.
But it doesn't get as hot as it is in some areas of the United States.
It does, actually.
But
sometimes.
I'm saying it's hot. But the hotness that it gets, they're used to. So they're like, we just put a fan in the window.
Well,
like the regions that they're in, those people are used to it.
Most of the time it's summertime heat. But where we are too, we don't really use our AC. I don't use the AC. We use fans and things, but for the most part, the fans really did work. And we're in the northern part of North Carolina as well. But then that was just a side note. But water consumption, most times, you're taking quick showers, and when they washed clothes, a lot of times they had a clothesline. Which wasn't odd there, but here, when you see someone with a clothesline, you're like, oh, they don't have a dryer.
But they probably did have a dryer. Was probably
right. But there, they do have dryers, but they just don't use them as often. Like we, if you wash clothes, we expect to put them right in the dryer and use those things. Use the dryer and get it dry as soon as possible. But there, they tend to wash the clothing and hang it dry, and we've done that too. It may sound inconvenient, but if you're washing your clothes in the evening time, generally you don't really need them to the next day, it's just timing, isn't it? And so that's, we do have a dryer. I just try not to use it as often. And it's just become habit. It's just a habit that we formed while living overseas. Um, both places are great. I think here in the U.S., recycling has been here for a long time. It's just every place does it differently. In Germany, it's pretty much standard, and it's
standard unless you want to be fined
yeah.
constantly. So either you join
or pay
or
some
they
money.
make a lot of money.
So it's just that was our take on that, and that's how we became like a sustainable family. Really, once we lived in Germany, just kind of changed my outlook on how simple life could actually be when you're doing things, and when recycling and thrifting and all of those things just become a part of your life. Thank you guys for watching. We hope to see you next time. If you want to share your ideas or what made you go sustainable,
Please comment below.
Please comment below.
Sorry, I always bother you
like
if I
and
said this.
subscribe. Click the bell notification for our next video. Bye.
No, wait. The bell notification is so that people know when there's a next video.
Oh.
They can just subscribe. But
Okay.
if they have a bell, then randomly at midnight it'll be like, there's a new video for this. Sorry.
Thanks, Maya.
She's gonna cut that.
Bye, guys.